Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, Ivan, as always. Ooh. As always, one of the first in the chat. Please do type if you're in the chat. Zach, what's up? Just as we get the stream started. Hello, Daniel. Please, Chelsea, can you do something for me on Sunday? Please. Please, as Da Vinci says. Hey, AR. Hello, David. Hello, Ben. Big up, Ben. What's up, everyone in the chat? What's good, Jason? Perfect. Hi, Connor. New season jitters. Blue is the colour. Very much so. Already liked my guy, Edward. Everybody that is in the chat, if you haven't already, please drop a like and it will help us. Sorry I missed your stream yesterday. Completely agree with your point of Arsenal missing a dynamic forward to pair with Saka. Yeah, I still think they'll win the league, like I said yesterday, but we're gonna go Chelsea today because doing that stream yesterday hurt to be praising Arsenal the amount I did. So let's talk Chelsea and let's get optimistic. Where was I? Hello, Shazeb. Score predictions. We'll get to those. We'll do that at the end once we've gone through it, and I'll try and get everybody's in the chat. But good shout, 2-1. Don't mind it. I hope so. Hello, Julius. You said your worries are defensive. Hey, Connor, would you rather João Felix and a centre back or Osimhen? Napoli seem to be treating us that if we don't give them Lukaku for 30 million, they'll sign Rarest. Yeah, I keep seeing that, but that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because in itself, that kind of means that if something happens about Lukaku tonight, then maybe a decision's been reached on Osimhen. Whether that decision is we're not going to go ahead with it and we're just going to sell Lukaku and cut our losses, or the decision is we are going to sell Lukaku and it's going to mean that we get Osimhen on a cheaper fee. But at least if we see if something happens with Lukaku to Napoli, at least we know some sort of decision has been made. You think they finish second because they don't have that forward? Yeah, that's fair enough. I do think I did say at the start of the season that they'd probably need all three, but I do think Calafiori and Marino is enough. Yeah, that's where I'm at currently anyway. Media doesn't understand how much damage Poch has done to our squad in terms of bad habits, poor tactics. Yeah, that's true. I do think it will take more time to sort of iron out those tactical flaws that are sort of imprinted. But I also think he's had a positive effect in the way of some of their development. So it's a bit catch-22. Yeah, I think we'll be fine going forward. But if we let one in, I'm afraid, yeah, fair enough. You think Palmer would start? This isn't my team straight away. This is how I've got it. We're going to discuss it. That's not far off what I think it could be. But I do think Palmer probably starts. But then I don't know. I don't know how he's going to do it. I really don't. It's going to be really interesting. That's probably the bit I'm most excited about. I think this lineup's going to tell us so much because it's against a big side as well. He didn't platform him the best, did he? Didn't platform Enzo the best, but I think he's going to have a great season under Maresca. I think he's going to be perfect. I think City will win the league because I think Arsenal need a better striker. Yeah, I still do think they need one. Madueke deserves to start. I absolutely agree. If Neto is fit, that fixes everything. Do you mean for this weekend? Because I don't think he's going to play. I think he'll come off the bench, possibly, but I don't think he starts. No way. Not no way. I hope he does. I'd love to see him start, but very unlikely. Sadly, going to be 3-1 City. Yeah, we need to try and be optimistic, don't we? So yeah, that's what I was thinking about Palmer, and Neto definitely I don't think starts. Palmer is a difficult one. Afternoon, Ryan. I'm a little bit worried about Nkunku 9, and that's what we're going to talk about. I just think the likelihood of him starting as the 9, just because Jackson's barely got minutes and Guiu has been brilliant in pre-season, but if you're trying to get players on the pitch, do you go with Nkunku? By the way, that's my chair squeaking, if you can hear that. It's getting worse and worse by the day. Going to need to buy a new one soon. But if I keep moving in between, you hear it creak like that, that is my chair. What was I saying? Jackson, I don't think is ready. Guiu, I just think if you want to get players into the team, and Nkunku, Yeah, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Palmer. I agree. I do. Of course, I think he should start. Like, of course, it's ideal if we can get him in. It's unfortunate. It's in a way, yes, but in a way, kind of no. Like, in a way, it could be a really good way to start because this is almost what we've been preparing for. If we start hot here, could be huge. Do I think we'll implement man to man from goal kicks? Yeah. From sort of when they sustain possession high up the pitch, I think it will be zonal into the man to man. So again, we did that better against Inter, although they did drop off a bit deeper throughout the whole game. But yeah, I agree. This is the best time to catch City. Rodri and Foden just got back 2 days ago. We're going to speak about this. So I've got this screen. We're going to make our Chelsea team. It's going to be the first port of call. On the other screen, I've then got what I think the City team's going to be. We'll discuss that, and then we'll discuss what we think is going to happen in terms of how they'll line up and how it could take shape tactically. Because one thing I do just want to debunk, by the way, and I could be left with egg on my face by saying this because we could do it in an attempt to scupper Manchester City's sort of what do you call it? Like their interpretation of what we're going to do. I am 95% sure we invert the fullback or overlap the fullback, one or the other. I'm 95% sure we do not diamond. We don't go diamond midfield against City. And I'll discuss why later when we talk about City's lineup, the way they press. I'd be absolutely shocked. Like a lot of people are starting to now put the diamond as our like primary formation. We did that for a reason. If you follow me on Twitter, go check out the thread that is pinned on my account currently. And those two threads that are connected literally show you why we played the diamond. There was a reason for it. And it was more so to do with how they play in a 5-3-2. Yeah, and that's how I have it too, Zach. If Palmer starts, then it'll probably be Gusto overlapping and Enzo dropping in. So yeah, I agree. Let's talk about the lineup then. Pedro, game week 1, off the bench, maybe. Off the bench, maybe. Gallagher would have been helpful for stopping Rodri, all right. They'll kill us if we play the diamonds. Yeah, it just won't. They'll numerically, it just won't really help us at all in the middle. It just wouldn't benefit us to the point, and it's not. You don't get the same benefits against a 4-4-2 unless you're chasing a game and they're dropping off deeper. If they're going to press you and they're going to press you from the build-up phase in a 4-4-2, then you need the extra man in the pivot. Going to be interesting to see which centre-back pairing would Maresca go with. I'm almost certain now, especially with the news today, it's going to be Colwell and Fofana. Like I said, what I've got on screen here is kind of what I've got as my like most likely lineup. And then I've got that sort of big question mark over Palmer. Casado, I also think is a massive question mark, but I just think it's either going to, for me, it's either going to be that, and which Lavia doesn't play, which means like people would be annoyed, right? Maybe not as annoyed as some think, but Lavia deserves this start. He's been brilliant in preseason, and he's more sharp and ready. The news about Cole Fofana, I meant, I think it was the Athletic article that basically said that they are set to be the favoured centre back pairing. And yeah, you're right. Diamond work against low blocks and back fives mainly. Mainly, it's not even just a back five. It's just like because they pressed again. It's because they are in a back five. They then their next two lines of pressure are 2-3. So 3 midfielders, 2 attackers. Or if they press 3 attackers, 2 central midfielders, you've got enough in there, and with your shape you can find +1. Whereas again, if they're pressing in the front line is a 2-4, 2 strikers, 4 midfielders, need the extra man in the pivot. Lavia starts and Palmer starts in KDH. See this is true. It's what you've just said here. This is pretty much how I see it going, because I do think we're going to want to invert somebody with athletic ability, aka Gusto, with Lavia, which does lead me to, if you want to go more and you want to get him in the team, I agree. I think it's something like this. However, that off ball with Sterling here, who is going to lead that press? Who is going to lead that press? Worries me a lot. which is almost why it makes a bit more sense. As much as I think Madueke, I think he deserves to start, but almost for balance, would you say? Like, so keep this in mind what you've got on screen. We'll get torn apart out of possession with that, exactly. So imagine this, but out of possession turns to this, but Nkunku is basically trapping off one side of the pitch, which means Palmer's got to get over to support Enzo in case that ball gets past Enzo. Enzo's got to apply pressure on the ball. Sterling's got to apply pressure to make sure that that pass from the goalkeeper doesn't go short. And vice versa, if it goes the other way, which would be better for us if we block it this way. That still means Enzo's got to cover ground and get over. Sterling luckily gets like forgotten about. Not forgotten about, but he's like got less of a role. He's just sort of here to cover if the keeper goes for an audacious sort of attempt to play out this way. Palmer's got to press and apply pressure, and Madueke's got to apply pressure or fall depending on the position, like the depth of the ball. So that worries me out of possession big time because there's not enough intensity in here. And Nkunku, there's not enough intensity from the front. And like I say, Sterling, if it starts coming down this side of the pitch where Sterling's got to drop in to sort of cover in this way, Mudryk did that far better than the other day than I've seen Sterling do at all in pre-season. So that worries me. I know Enzo captain, but Casadei would be much better for this game, probably. But I also think that you need his on-ball qualities because I do think, and it's not saying Casadei's obviously brilliant on the ball, but I do just think Enzo is literally like I just think everything ticks so much better when he's on the pitch in terms of just like passes that people, and I've always said this about Enzo, if you rate him or don't rate him, it is what it is now. But for me, he just, everything that looks simple that Enzo does, it looks simple because he's doing it at such a high level. Some of the simple passes, the ways he like, sometimes where he brings the ball down in this sort of area and he just passes it off to the side. That's a simple action. 90% of players in this squad just try and volley that back the other way, or like because they don't want to risk losing possession in there. But he's got that technical sort of assurance that he'll just bring that ball down and tick. And it happened so many times at the weekend against Inter, but it just doesn't get spoken about because it's seen as a simple mechanic to have, which it is at the absolute top level. And that's why he's an absolute top level midfielder, because he can do that. Now it will be Lavia and Enzo double pivot, out of possession, using two attack. Yeah, and this is true, but from the man-to-man press, it won't be a 4-2-3-1 because we will go man-to-man from the goal kicks. Or like that will still happen. When we go zonal, I agree. I think Enzo's dropped slightly deeper. Palmer goes a bit, and it does start to look a little bit more like a lopsided sort of 4-2-3-1. But yeah, definitely from goal kicks, their goal kicks, man to man, and if the ball breaks, counter pressing. Those are two things that worry me. Can you give us a final score prediction before the end of the stream? Yes, I will. You could play Palmer left and both Enzo, Casadei, and Lavia sitting. So you'd have to play Palmer. Do you mean right wing? So now that we've sort of spoke about that, let's go to the option. And I don't really like this but if there's a game you're going to do it, like Madueke, let's just say Madueke doesn't play this game. I think he deserves to, but let's say Palmer plays on the right, so that you can have a more intense presser, whether that's KDH. In fairness, with how KDH pressed the other day, could genuinely be a case to play like this, right? But then again, the issue with this is in possession, Casadei would probably drop in instead of Enzo, so you've still got, and you sort of create this. Of course, I want Enzo deeper, but then again, when we create the, he drops into this space to receive, and Nkunku and Palmer are playing off each other in this area. Sterling and Gusto have to pin it high, and you sort of end up with that shape. That could work really well. Out of possession negates a lot of the issues as well. Like I say, Palmer is pressing from the right, but it's less intense, and it is intense still because he has to get back. He has to get back, but it's less intense. It's less evident than him being in the middle of the park, where if he doesn't apply pressure, that ball's just going to keep coming over the top, and we'll struggle. So we need him in there. Where was everyone? And in the press, though, you have Casado. This isn't my predicted lineup. I've done a couple. Yeah, but it's not at all. It's just not sustainable at all. But yeah, I do think it's so tough because, like I say, if Palmer starts, we are having Gusto, and it would be a late. I don't think he'd go too early. I do think as well, something we'll see against City is almost that. Again, so this is KDH now. Sort of this 4-2 deep build up. And then as we hit the halfway line, if we manage to push City back, then Gusto pushes up, then Palmer comes inside. And I think this is probably more balanced than anything because you get KDH playing on the left in possession. Out of possession, he's still got the intensity. And his movements the other day with Guiu were brilliant. They were brilliant. And yeah, like you say, it could see us doing that. We do that every game. It's just whether you see it or not, but like prominently because of how high up their fullback push is, how the right, like if they've got an extra man in the middle to the point where the right centre back has to come in and then they like shift. But that is always a principle of the play. It's just how often you see it. You don't want Sterling to play, and this is another thing. I like I said the other day. I think Mudryk was better out of possession. So there's a case for me to say. Mudryk plays. I do think he was better the other day, and I think he offers a bit more out of possession. Hang on. Sweating big time, so I'm gonna adjust that. Turn the fan on actually. There we go. Tell me if the fan's too loud, but it's getting hot, so I'm gonna turn that on. Yeah, we created 5 big chances against City. We just didn't finish them. Defo need Casado, and this is what's going to be brilliant. Like, even with just what we're saying in the chat now, Gusto on the right takes out the isolation of the winger and the 1v1 dynamic threat. It does, but you have one over here, and again, the idea of the isolation of a winger, it does take away the 1v1. You're right about that. But in deep possession, this is what people also have to understand. In deep possession, when he's doing that, and you sort of see something more like this, Palmer is still tasked with keeping. It will still look like this deep possession, very De Zerbi, very sort of those deep patterns of play. But it's then, like I say, when we progress to about this area of the pitch, again, Palmer can then slowly drop in as Gusto replaces. Fullback either follows him. Perfect. Gusto's got a clear run in behind. That happened against Inter Milan at one point. Or they don't follow him because they know Gusto's about to arrive. They stay with Gusto. Palmer ends up being the free man to receive between the lines, and he can face forward. It's again catch-22. That's what you're always looking for. You're trying to make the defender make a decision where they essentially can't win. They just have to make a decision that is the lesser of two evils is what they're trying to do. So in this sense, you're probably thinking, right, I'll stay with Gusto because I'll stay in this position because if I drag all the way out here and Palmer's clever and he beats me and puts in that ball there, then Chelsea are away. So it's the advantages. It's a numbers game. Football is a numbers game. It's finding those plus ones. Like managers, you can notice it from every manager and how they speak about it. By the way, we've got over 250 people watching on Twitter, nearly 70 people watching on YouTube. If you haven't dropped a like, please do. It really helps me out. And if you are watching on Twitter, please do head over to the YouTube, even just to drop a like, and you can go back to Twitter afterwards to watch it. But it does help me far more if you're watching on YouTube than it does on Twitter. That's where I earn the money. So it allows me to do more of these streams. I've got a video coming out tomorrow. I'm trying to upload or stream daily at the minute, and the consistency is paying off. I'd love to hit 10K on Twitter and 3K on YouTube by, maybe not 3K on YouTube, quite unrealistic, by Sunday, but at least 10K on Twitter I'd love to hit. So if you haven't liked, please drop a like. All support is really appreciated. Sterling cash money against City, you're right. In terms of like, he's probably going to turn up more there than he is anywhere else. So again, I do slightly agree. I do agree. So of the two lineups we spoke about, do we think we're going to go? Because we need to sort of know what the gauge is that everybody's going. Hello, Khalid. What's up, my guy? Will we go? First of all, do you agree with the back? Again, if take it out of possession, let's just put it as, do you agree with the back five? Do you think that will be the lineup, or do you think there'll be a difference? Forget the rest of the midfield for now. Do we agree that is the back four? Yes or no? Just type yes or no. Trying to get a gauge, because then on the other tactics board, we're going to discuss what City could do, and then, even though you'd prefer Jorgensen, yeah, I guess yes from Jason. Just for the back line. Yes from Waleed, yes from Money. Cool. Enough yeses so far. That's that. Now we have to decide. Do we think it's more likely? So again, I'm going to give you two options. Is it more likely for Palmer to start, meaning he'll start as a right winger? Don't worry about the starting inside scenario. We'll get to that. Do you think Palmer will start as a right winger, which means Gusto overlaps? So that's one option. So it basically means Gusto becomes that, Palmer becomes in here. Or will we invert Gusto and Palmer won't start on the right? So put one if Palmer plays on the right, comes inside and Gusto provides width. That's one. Two, if Gusto inverts and therefore Madueke starts on the right. One for Palmer on the right, two for Madueke on the right. But again, you have to take into consideration what the other bit means. So if that makes sense. So you can't just say Palmer on the right, but Gusto inverts, because that's very unlikely. So one, we've got a 1-2 from Jason, but a few more ones at the minute. 1, 2, 2. Ooh, close. Close. Okay. I will say, as much as I personally actually think it could be useful not starting Palmer, in terms of, I know it sounds ridiculous, genuinely sounds outrageous, but could be useful to start in a more balanced way and bring him off the bench in the second half. I do think the most likely, and I'm not at all annoyed about it, is that he does start on the right, and we do see that that created, right? So in which case, now that we've got Palmer starting from the right, and we're creating this, just remember that, we're creating that. Who now are our three in here? Okay? 3 players. Let me know in the chat. So we need, technically, 2 8s and a 6. Imagine 2 of them are playing in the pivot. One of them's going to play as a half space 8. Okay? 3 players for there. Put yours on screen now. I will say, for balance purposes, and it's outrageous to drop Casado. Actually, no. Tell you what I'm going to do. What I'd like to see is that. So I'm going to do that. And everybody else is saying that, other than Zach. You saying Nkunku, and I don't mind that, because I do actually like Nkunku a lot in the 8. But from you saying that, I'm assuming that means you're going to start Guiu up top. So what have we got? Lavia and Enzo are nailed on. I agree. I personally think they're both going to play. Imagine the bus we get if Neto gets the surprise start. Don't even get me started, Zach. Honestly, don't get me started. Gonna lose it if he starts. Casado, Lavia, Enzo, Casado from Ben. David says Nkunku, Enzo, Casado, same as Zach, I think. Yeah, no. He said Casado, Zach said Lavia. Quite a few different ones actually. Lavia, Enzo, KDH. Lavia, Enzo, KDH. Lavia, Enzo, Casado. Yeah, give it up front. So, okay. I don't mind that, because if one thing he's going to give you is that pressing intensity. So, again, if that happens, I won't be annoyed. I kind of think starting Nkunku up front could be the play to get all your players on the pitch against City. But if, Guiu starts, I genuinely understand it completely. Really doubt Enzo will play at 6. By the way, this, obviously, again, this is only when Gusto overlaps. So, Enzo would technically be playing as that left centre mid. And he would drop in deep, it would almost look sort of like that. But then again, in deep build-up, Enzo was dropping like that. So it's a bit vice versa. But I get what you mean. At the minute, it's not looking like we're going to see him starting as the 6. I feel like Nkunku's wasted at 9. I agree, but not against City. Like, in most other games, I do agree. I prefer him as the 8. But against City, to get everybody else on the pitch, that's my thinking. Do you think Maresca will gamble on Noni or Guiu? How do you mean gamble? Like, starting one or the other? Or, like, I don't get... Or do you mean that they're just... You don't think they're ready, but you think he could take a gamble on them if that's how he perceives it? Is that what you mean? Lavia, Enzo, and Kunku and Guiu at striker. So similar to Zach. Moy, Enzo, and Kunku. His work rate is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. I think Lavia, Enzo set. And for me, I don't mind Casadei not starting, but prefer him over KDH. Okay. Pretty much everybody has said Enzo, Lavia. So we're going to keep them there. We've had Nkunku, we've had KDH, and we've had a few for Casadei. We didn't have as many for all 3 of them. So I am going to take Casadei out. Let's put... Oh. I'm going to leave. I'm going to put KDH there. And I hear everybody that said Nkunku. I'm going to do this because I'm going to speak about Nkunku as the striker when we're talking on the tactics board. So I'm going to leave it like that. So now it's just decision for left wing. Because obviously, if it wasn't Nkunku, you'd have Guiu up front. So don't worry about that part. Left wing decision now. Mudryk, Sterling, or Neto. But if Neto was there, I would play him too. But I just don't think it's likely to think he'll play from the start. So I'm more so asking you Mudryk or Sterling. But if you really have a feeling, if you really think Neto will start and you actually believe that, then put Neto. But I want you to keep that in mind that it's probably unlikely that he starts. But I'd love it. I would love it. You want Neto, but think Sterling. Yeah, Sterling, Misha, or Mudryk, Misha. Sterling always seems to perform. We don't rate Mudryk, so I have to go Sterling. Thought that with Disasi. Oh, what, from last season? I would love Neto to start. Of course I would. I think we got more Sterling, so fair enough. We'll have to put Sterling in. Shows up against City. You're not wrong. Venzo will be providing the distribution, and there's no... ... Left us on a cliffhanger. Any chance we see Palmer in the left 8 this season? With Nkunku at left wing, now that we've signed Neto, and we haven't got rid of Sterling or Mudryk, probably not. Would I start Jackson? I don't think he's ready after just seeing 45 minutes. I would bring him off the bench. But if he does, and we don't see the behind the scenes. If in this week that he's had to train, he's looked better, why then go for it? If they make that decision and they think he's ready and he shows that he's ready when he does play, I'm all for it because I love Jackson. And as soon as he is pretty much fully fit, pretty much the next game, he'd be straight in for me. So yeah, I would. Would I start Jackson? Yes, but it's more so an estimated guess on fitness and what we want and yeah, because that's the same with Palmer. But I also think Palmer's almost just one of those players that he just instantly comes in. Connor, do you think Jackson gets more goals this season than last? Ask me that if we get Osimhen. If we don't get Osimhen, yes. If we do, no. Madueke and Sterling, 60-min super sub is a serious note to having about. It's not a bad one, is it? That's a good point, because in this lineup, we'd have Jackson, Madueke, and I know Sterling's on the pitch here, so you said Sterling, but even Mudryk, Neto. Imagine Neto, Madueke, Jackson as a triple sub. That could be devastating on the break. If we go 1-0 up with this team, take control. Oh, imagine. Also, agree Enzo and Lavia at the base is not it. Need either a fullback there or Casadei. Again, this would be in possession, so it would probably look more like this, and then all of a sudden people would think it's a diamond because it looks something like this. They'd think, oh, look, it's the diamond shape. But that's just a staggered height. That's the front 4. It's different configurations. Like Enzo being next to him on screen doesn't mean he's dropping in to aid play and then slightly progress, but not overly to the point of KDH. It's different each week. I guarantee you, if we see anything that resembles a diamond at the weekend, we will eat like this. Like I say, like a stagnated midfield. I guarantee it's all over Twitter as we played the diamond against City. That's one of my biggest predictions for the weekend. For Chelsea Twitter. Where was we? Start Casadei, Enzo, and Lukaku. Okay. Less goals overall, but better goals for Jackson. That's what Ninja Gecko thinks. Do you think we'll get a result against City? The optimism in me says draw, but the realism said they'd probably win. They'll probably tip us, but I want to be optimistic because I do believe in this group so much, and it's a perfect time to hit City. So why not? Why not? And I'm going into the weekend. I'm going to be right up for it. So yeah, like going into the weekend, I'll be saying, yeah, we're going to win this because I just like that's the fan in you that comes out. And what's the point if you don't let that side of you come out as well? Neto is going to be him. Yeah, I'm so excited. If we keep him fit, yeah, it's what I've been saying. Not specifically into specific, but like you say, back five. And we will like it will be 3-box-3. Yeah. At least that's what I think. Enzo Lavia pivot, Palmer and Kunku as 10s, just overlaps. Yeah, so like I say, this could easily be that. It could be very easily, but just for the sake of what I'm going to discuss in a second, we're going to say this. So I'll screenshot this later and I'll put it on Twitter that this is what we decided. I will make it very clear in the tweet that this is not what everybody decided, but we're going off of most votes, okay? And I think off of votes, because I'd personally have Madrid, but we're going to now take this over to another screen where I've got a predicted City lineup. Again, I've pretty much just gone with the predicted lineups I've seen for City. I'll discuss that. Let me get that up now. Stop screen. Done the wrong thing twice. There we go. Okay. This is the team I've gone for. This is the team that I've gone for. Same back four that they played in the Community Shield. Rodri comes in because I just think the likelihood of them not playing O'Reilly, very unlikely. Kovacic has played pretty much every game, and I think he will just because, again, he's fit. Doku will play, in my opinion. Haaland will play. KDB came on in the Community Shield, but not for long. Big up Connor collab with GNA TV. GNA TV? Who's GNA? Who's GNA TV? That's confused me. I'm not sure if I'm tripping or something, but it's at the bridge, backing the Blues for result, absolutely, or look like they deserve one at least. Oh, from the game. Yeah. But yeah, this is probably what I'd say. Savio could start. You're not wrong. Savio could start. But let's say this, okay? Again, slight personnel differences maybe, but they're going to press in that 4-4-2. Almost definitely, okay? So, again, let's draw it out in terms of lines of press. First line of press. Second line. Third line, yeah? Now, of course, in this system, not the diamond, in this system, it's more centered around these two playing narrow. I'm going to get rid of actually all those because they get in the way. Say the ball comes over here. Haaland's going to press here. KDB's going to press over. They're going to try to block here, which is when Enzo, of course, is going to drop into this pocket, which is where he drops into. Again, he's going to push wide. And at times, what you're looking for is Silva, because it will be more like this, where the wingers are a bit higher, ready to pounce either side. Once Silva presses towards here, Enzo appears in that pocket of space that we've become accustomed to seeing. Again, that becomes the option. You start to see these sort of passes. Again, Rodri is almost tasked with, he's basically on Lavia. Kovacic is basically on Gusto. Doku is ready to pounce to Fofana or ready to drift inside to try and stop the ball coming through here to KDH. But again, he's not going to drop all the way with him. So again, when Enzo makes those runs over to the pocket, so over here, like I say, it becomes more of a something like this, 4 shape. These two in here. KDH dragging in. Again, Doku, again, is now sort of not out of the play, but he's just going to be sort of tracking back leisurely as Fofana comes up. He's sort of out of the play now. So you've now pretty much gone 1 for 1 across the back line. Enzo facing forward. So he can either drive that forward, he can pop it into him and then join the attack to make it a 5, and vice versa. Again, this is either side. This isn't just Enzo's side. This more happen. I think it will happen more with Enzo. And you know what I've just realised actually is this is with Gusto inverting. So we're talking about this system is with Madueke. We'll do it again in a second with Parma. I forgot to mention that. So this is if Gusto was to start. Just to make that clear. So yeah, we've got that 4. That creates that. And again, see something like that. Now, again, like I say, that could happen both sides. Silva's dropped in. Doku presses this side. KDH is in the receiver spot. Again, this would be if it's here. Bounce, out, 4v4. Okay, so watch out for those patterns, because that's what we'll probably look to do, again, if they press in that format, which I expect. Now, Madueke out for Parma, as we said. Who else did we have? Was that pretty much it? The rest of the team was like this, wasn't it? It was literally just Parma for Madueke, and then the dynamic shifts. Yeah. So, for this one, what you'd more likely see is a deep build-up that consists a little bit more like this. Okay? Like I said the other day, not the other day, like 10 minutes ago. Something a little bit more like this. Again, if they're going to press us, try and split these two apart. They'll be aggressive. They'll sort of be shadowing here, ready to jump, but as well ready to cover if they really need to sort of track inside. So sort of see something like this. Again, these guys will be probably a bit higher. Then, as we then break, again, this is, as you can see, man for man, so you still end up with, these are the guys in here. They have to be aggressive to stop them receiving the ball. But you've still ended up with a man-to-man in the back line, which is your aim. Either create an overload or at least go man-to-man, 4v4 at the back. So again, as I said, Palmer will still hold this role to keep Vardiol pinned. Because if Palmer just comes in here already, happy days. Vardiol can come in, Diaz can push up a bit. He can sort of cover, so if that escapes. But again, better for them. So Palmer, keep Vardiol out, or at least keep him deeper. That's the idea. Again, I'm going off this partly off of the other day, partly just what we're thinking. KDH, probably not, maybe not. But again, just for the sake of the tactics and like what we're speaking about, we'll go with that. So as I said, Palmer holds that width. Then, as the ball progresses, we get to about here. If you force City back, so now you forced City back into a bit more of a shape back here. So at this point, now, of course, a lot of moving pieces. You're going to have Lavia and Enzo. Again, Enzo maybe a little bit more staggered. It's hard with like not as much room on the board, but it's going to be much higher. Now Gusto will overlap, Palm will come inside. So Gusto is now taking this role. And Kunku's in the 9, like we said. These two are operating in this area. And you've pushed them back. So now Palmer can drop in and sort of affect the game and be a bit more associative with his play. He can drop in, try and receive the ball here, or with Doku's blind side, he can come out here to try and receive it. Or again, he'll play in this pocket, which he's more than happy to receive it in there. So again, if you can do it, bounce, bounce. Palmer's facing play. KDH sort of makes that run, and Kunku comes close. And again, 4. Attacking the back line with Palmer facing on. Yes, Rodri might drop deeper. Someone like Enzo can go with. KDH can can go between the two to sort of occupy both. And again, make runs in behind. That's still going to fall on Akanji. So the point that I'm trying to make is, either way, I think it's going to be a similar style in the sense of they're going to probably press in a 4-4-2. We're going to look for that overload, and out of possession is going to be important. We're going to man-to-man press from goal kicks. Hopefully, we're going to go zonal when they do this to us, essentially. So imagine that flipped. It will be us camped in our half. Not camped, but, deeper, and City sort of sustaining possession. But I do think the idea will be something like that when we're sustaining pressure with Gusto on the right if Palmer starts. Now I'm going to open it up. Have we got any questions to do with the sort of lineup system, all these things? We'll keep this screen on so that we can talk about different questions about the game. And yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be uploading a video which will be pretty much this, but with like picture examples of what I think City are going to do, picture examples from our game against City, the press that they use, etc. And then you can sort of visualize what I'm trying to say on screen here. I'll probably include a little bit of tactics board stuff as well, like I did in the last video. That went down quite well with the live section. But yeah, just a few things like that is what we're probably going to aim to do. But yeah, we'll go to some questions. Any updates on Gabriel Mek and the goalkeeper? Not from what I know. One thing we can't do against City is those sloppy passes when building from the back. Yeah, of course. Like, and again, even Pep sort of said it was to do with those with the pitches, didn't he? So I will just say, by the way, we're up to over 400 viewers across YouTube and Twitter. As I just need to keep saying it, keep getting out there. Please, can we come over to the YouTube if you're watching on Twitter, even if it's just to drop a like and leave again. Drop a sub if you haven't already. All of the support on YouTube really helps me out in being able to improve my setup, to get better videos out for you guys. More streams, more of everything. So, like I said, drop a like if you can. And again, follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube, subscribe to me, all that jazz, as it really does help out. How worried are you about us throwing the game away early with playing out from the back? I'm not as worried from what I've seen early on and the pitch state. I wouldn't say I'm as worried. There's chance in any game like that, and learning early doors, we might have one in us. So of course it's in the back of my mind, but I'm not overly worried about it. No. Of all the games this season, this is the one where we won't need that. Yeah, that's true. So as long as our build up and timings are clicking, I back us to get a result. No, you're right. We shouldn't end up with them pinned, and they're not going to play in a low block. So you're correct. Having some, and again, if it's Jackson that comes on, or even if it starts like this, he's going to stretch the play and he's going to get in behind, and we're going to look a little bit better with that space, and he's going to have space to run into and make things happen in and around the box, like I say. Pochball had it strawbacks, but it always absolutely shredded City. So you say this, right? 1-1, 4-4, and we lost in the game where we probably should have won, but in the cup. It's not sustainable. It creates chances. It leaves you open, and you're basically playing a tough game against City. It can work. Of course it can work. And the 4-4, like, those results were good for us at the time, and they're exciting and they're great, and they bring positivity because it's Man City. But again, in the long run, not going to do much for you. So I sort of agree and sort of don't, to an extent. Even in preseason game, we looked a lot better with the proper wingers out wide. Yeah, and I think we looked better. I think we were the better team in the preseason game, honestly. I think if we didn't make those few mistakes, and we made 5 big chances, like I said, scored 2 goals, finished our chances and make less mistakes. Of course, very easy to say in hindsight. Most teams could say that after every game, and they'd probably be talking about a game they could have won. But in that sense of the word, in the game with the actual way we played and all of that, that's what I'd say. Scoreline predictions. Right, in the chat, let me know your scoreline predictions. I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to try and be... I don't even know if 1-1's optimistic, but we're going to go 1-1. Who do you think will start between Sanchez and Jorgensen? Sanchez for now. I think Jorgensen, as the season goes on, he'll get chances, depending on Sanchez mistakes, etc. But I'm going to go Sanchez. Tuchel skinned them 3 times in a row. Yeah, and again, it wasn't like Tuchel's a bit more of a, he'll change things on the go. So he sort of applied different strategies in each game. Is there a chance Guy will start? Yeah, there's definitely a chance he starts. Big chance he starts. I just don't think I would predict Nkunku could start up front, but literally like 51-49 in my head because he's so likely to start because he has been good enough. And in terms of pressing intensity, he brings exactly what you want. So why not? If Jackson's not ready, it could easily be that. Would you play Fofana right back and invert Cucurella? No. If I was going to invert Cucurella, it would pretty much be I'd much rather do it like that. So yeah, no, I wouldn't. And then what? Just don't start Gusto. Gusto definitely has to start. So no, I wouldn't do that. 2-2, 2-2, 2-2. 3 2-2s in a row. Then we have a 2-1 Chelsea, a 3-2 Chelsea. So we're at more 3 stages to Gusto, right back to right centre mid to right wing. He did, if you go look at my tweet, he did a little bit earlier in the game, and then he started only really doing right back to right wing, and Palmer would do the sort of, he'd go right wing to right centre mid to right attacking 10. So he'd almost have 3 stages in that sense. That was about after the 60th minute where it happened a bit more. To begin with, Gusto was picking it up deep, and then he would sort of still form the diamond, and then him and Palmer would almost communicate their rotation. But yeah, you're not wrong. You did see that, and I saw that too. 1-1 or 2-1 loss, unfortunately. Pure analyst fan in me says winning 3-0. Yeah, I like that. 2-1 CFC, 3-1 City, 2-1 Chelsea, 3-1 Chelsea. Brain says 2-0 City, Heart says 2-1 Chelsea. Love that. Low scoring game unless there's mistakes. Chelsea might lose this game, but we'll play well. See, that's the other thing, right, to take from this. If we lose 2-1, but we play really well, one, if you'll be happy, and it's a bit far to say happy from a loss, but optimistic, if that's enough for you, or 2, if you'll come away from that. Because I guarantee you, if we lose, a lot of people will instantly jump at the whole, we drew with them twice last season and we've lost this game, and like sort of try to look for the negative. Don't know if any of you guys agree with that. If that's what will happen, we play so well and miss chances, then that can be fixed. If nothing clicks, I'm worried. I'm still not worried early doors if nothing clicks, but I get what you mean. Like, you're obviously going to be less optimistic about the actual game itself. On the one hand, it really depends what we see as well. Money Mike agrees. He said 1. I'll never be happy with a lot. That's what I mean. Yeah, I meant that's why I tried to sort of say not happy about the a loss, but I mean not go to the extreme of turning it on its head. Remember when Newcastle smacked Villa in the first game last season, but Villa still played well and ended up having a better season? Yeah, wasn't that? Didn't somebody say in that game they were really impressed with Villa? One of like the top pundit or manager, I can't remember. There was something big come out about that. Might have been Ferguson. Playing well is non-negotiable. Loss against City can be digested. Yeah, that's fair. Next games after City should be 18 points up till Liverpool. We have got an okay run after City, you're not wrong. So 18 points is still a big ask, but it was Alex. Yeah, I thought so. I did think so. We're up to 450 viewers now, by the way. We're going up by like 50 every few minutes. So please, if you haven't liked already, please do drop a like. If you're on Twitter, come over to the YouTube, drop a like. Then you can just go back. Doesn't matter once you've already done the like, because it really does help me out. Nuno beat City 1-0 when he was manager of Spurs. It was very possible. Last time there was Euros as well. Of course it's possible we can win this game. Of course it's possible. And like I say, Rodri, like predicting Rodri to start, that's not guaranteed. That really isn't. It's just that I think he comes in because he's such a big part, and like the other option is basically starting McAtee or Foden and playing Kovacic as the like lone 6. Starting Silva in there, but again, like physicality wise, like I don't know. That's why I think Rodri comes in, because I think he's almost, you just need him back in the team, whether he's fully fit or not. But there is obviously the chance that he doesn't play. There is the chance he doesn't play. That is something that is to think about, at least. So I think the biggest questions going in, I don't know if people agree, is this situation. Does Palmer play on the right? Who starts left wing? And who configures that midfield 3? Because, like I say, we see Casado? Do we see Lavia? Do we see Enzo? Do we see all three? Do we? But then there's the striker situation. There's just questions everywhere, isn't there? It really is. Questions everywhere. Find out who's available. Rodri. I'd be shocked if he weren't available, but yeah. Need to compete. Can't be a one-sided game. The magic of Stamford Bridge could activate if we win this. If we win this game, I do think it'll be a really sort of like great week. Because then, is it Thursday that we then have our first leg of the Europa Conference League game? It could really spur us on really early. It would be so big, so big. If we create chance and miss them, what's changed? I know it's not Maresca's fault, but we've seen this happen. Again, it depends on how. Because if we create chances, miss them and lose, but it's a 1-0 loss and we've created enough chances to win and we've still looked in control, even to have an element of control against City, that's good signs. If, as you say, we create chances, miss them, and it just looks all over the place, there's no sign of slowing it down to take control. It's too erratic, and it almost looks back to Pochball. Then yeah, you have to go back to the drawing board and think something's gone wrong. So you're not wrong in that sense, but I do think there's an element. The main thing I'm going into this game for, looking for, other than 3 points, is can we have sustained periods of time? There's going to be times where we're not. Can we have sustained periods of pressure where we control the game? Not City, we control the game. If I see a few scenarios like that, again, against City, it's not going to be the whole thing. If I can see signs of it, I'm happy. Again, obviously, result over everything, but that's the next thing I'm looking for. All the pundits predicting Chelsea to finish 7th or 8th are going to be blown away this season. Love being the underdogs. There is some putting us 4th, though. I did see that that like top 4 predictor thing. There was quite a few of us putting us there, but yeah, a lot of them are putting us there. A lot of content creators as well that clearly aren't really tapped in on the Chelsea side. Yeah. Casado last year had to grow into the season. See that being the case again. Conversely, Stone started season 1, trailed off. Got to recognise when the hot streaks players are. Yeah. Yeah. Like you say, playing on merit as well. I think our first is after Wolves. Okay. My heart wants to win, but my head says it's a long season, so I don't want to be reactionary on results early. I do play FPL, Ivan. I do. I do indeed. Media are too ready to jump on us. So really, yeah, you're not wrong. They will. Again, it depends on the type of loss, doesn't it? So big loss, they will jump heavy. Lose to City, lose to Wolves for me. What do you think we'll lose to Wolves? Is that you predicting we'll lose to Wolves? Or you think if we lose to City, we lose to Wolves? Oh, if. Wait, so you think if we lose to City, we lose to Wolves, Ben? Is that what you're trying to say? If we miss chances, then that will just solidify the need for Osimhen. True. I can take an L, but we have to see something, yeah? I've got a really good feeling about this season. Surprised that so few are optimistic. Only problem for me might be flying out and back. Yeah, but it's part of it now, and hopefully with the rest of the players, and like we can use the squad well in that sense. Anonymous Twitter users putting us bottom half. Yeah. Main thing I want to see is our players being willing to recycle the ball. Exactly, sustaining pressure and slowing it down. I just want to see that it was high tempo a lot in preseason. We did see slight signs of slowing it down still. Even I want to see it more though, and I do think we will. I think in preseason we was almost trying to learn the other aspects of play to the point we weren't slowing it down enough. But I think as time goes, I think we're going to become tempo controllers more, and I think that suits a lot of the players in the team. So, and we did slow it down a lot. Like even times where sort of we stop on the ball here, look up, it's not on, so we recycle that way. Even that sort of 5 seconds they stop on the ball and look up. I just the stadiums and like even people on like just watching in the pub, they're just like, oh, get on with it. That's part of the reason you're doing it. Like you're trying to draw teams forward. That's modern day football. Does it benefit us to play Lavia, Casado, Enzo, or just Casado, Enzo against City? And pretty much only City, maybe Arsenal. I could see a case for all three. Most other games, no. It was Danny Murphy that predicted us to finish top 4. There's quite a few. I saw like 4 or 5, at least 4 or 5 that said it. The 4th to 9th position is going to be messy. I agree. I think it's going to be tight. I've put us 4th, but I'm fully I think 4th or 5th, and big yo-yo between those two for me. It's really close. I think it's going to be if we get fourth, I think it's going to be close. But even like third, I even Liverpool I put as third. I don't think that's going to be as plain sailing. I think they will get it purely down to the characters they have in the dressing room already and the spine they have. But I'm not so sure. Another thing I'm going to be looking for is a first look at Maresca's in-game changes, think ability to make tactical change mid-game. Yeah, and I know, I think he has that to a high level. So yeah, I'm looking forward to everybody seeing that too. Yeah, I know even controlling a half against City is really good, but it's Maresca's first home game. He needs to start as a win like Jose. Oh yeah, of course, a win ideally, brilliant. Ideally, unbelievable. Doesn't Enzo and Lavia nullify each other? No, because Lavia's playing as the 6 and Enzo's still like the more free roam 8. And again, like if one of them can be on the ball more, it will be Enzo. But Lavia still has like it's not like Lavia is literally the Enzo profile. It's just that Lavia is so good on the ball for a DM, and he can progress play. And if anything, that's better because we have both of them to do that. So no, it didn't nullify. If he's good at adapting in game, I'll back him for the long term. Yes, fair. Make an FPL league for our community here then. Let me know in the chat. Put 1 if you play FPL and you want me to make an FPL league. Put 2 if you don't. If you do, I will post it on Twitter after the stream. If we get a decent amount of people that want to join. So put 1 if you play FPL and you want to join. You want me to make a league for our community on here. 2 if you're not really bothered about it. Ben said, yeah. So you think what is that the Wolves thing? So you think the confidence will be lacking so that we don't perform against Wolves? Now we're going on a run. Love the optimism. What happens if we lose to City and Wolves? Oh, what do I think happens? Nothing. Like again, it's dependent, but this is he's gonna be given time. So I don't think people should be already thinking. I'm not saying that you are Ninja. I know that like it's a question, but I don't think anything happens. I think I don't think there'll even be that much pressure from the media at that point. I think he'll probably choose the pragmatic option. Which team would you suit? Team would suit that in your opinion? The pragmatic option would be probably this. Probably that. Playing all 3 of them. It's Maresca's first home game. Needs to start with a win. Still help the confidence. It absolutely will. Was it the end of the game and fans were getting impatient? Yeah, and I know that's going to happen because every time I'm at the bridge, it happens. And it's the same. Robert Sanchez on the ball last season, even in Poch's system, which was so fast paced, and Sanchez would slow it down for a second. The fans were literally on him to kick it long. Hilarious. Like, hilarious. Maresca said he didn't do as much of the tactical teaching in America. Treated it as fit. Yeah, and that's a good sign as well because we still looked tactically good in quite a few ways. 6 people put us 4th out of 25-ish. Oh, there's 6 people. Okay, if we get Victor third out of 4 or third or 4th, yeah, we lose it. Ginny do not understand how people have United above us. Yeah, it's the signings they've made, isn't it? And I do think they've had some really good business, but I don't see it personally. I think it falls apart again with Ten Hag. I think just think it falls apart again. What do you think of Lukaku Casadei for Osimhen? I'd love it. I'd love that, but whether it's likely, I'm not sure. But I'd love it. Who's more effective, Lavia or Casado? In what sense? Who's a rarer profile? I think Casado, because I think he is literally just can do everything in midfield. Who would I start? Definitely Lavia. Who has a higher ceiling? Coin toss. I think they're both. I think all 3 of those midfielders, and I've said it from the get go. I think they're all world class potential. I think we could. I love all 3 of them, so it's hard to say in that sense. Rarest profile of the 3, I would say, is Casado because it feels like he can just do a bit of everything. My favourite's Enzo, and then Lavia is like my gem that I was like since he was playing for Southampton. I was just really high on Lavia. So wow, so we're getting to the things now. We got a lot of 1s. We got like 1, 2, and then loads of 1s. So if you follow me on Twitter, make sure if you don't that you do because I will post the link on there after the stream. I'll literally go and make it. So say we end the stream in 15 minutes, give it another 15 after, check Twitter, and there'll be an FPL league ready for you guys to join. And we'll give that a go. We'll give that a go for a bit of fun. We can talk about it throughout the season as well that way. We'll be confidence in going to Wolves after City. Yeah. Especially if like I know what you mean if we lose going to Wolves, but Wolves as well lost a few big players. Neto going back. That could be big. Looks like a front three of Sterling, Kunku, Noni. I'd love Noni to start. I would. I really would. With Palmer starting as one of the eights would be ideal. The fans will get used to slow football, but it will take a lot of time. City match going fans used to. Yeah, true. Got to have a fast start to the game, avoid any slip ups. The slip ups is a big thing. We just need to sort of grow into the game. If we get to 20 minutes and we're growing into the game slowly, then hopefully the game can take its rhythm in the 6 role. Who's more effective in the 6 role? Ooh. That's tough because, again, I think coin toss for me. Really form dependent. I just rate them both so highly. I find it almost impossible to split them. Right now, Lavia, if I had to pick one of them to start. But over the whole course of the season, I think Casado maybe edges it. I'm really not sure. I love Lavia, so like if any other Prem team had Lavia or Casado or Enzo, they would build their team around them. We have all 3 exactly. Imagine Liverpool had one of these 3, by the way. Just one of them. Less so Enzo now because they do have McAllister who can do that role. I still think Enzo obviously starts for Liverpool in my opinion. Like if another managers know his quality, so he would play. People won't agree with that now because McAllister's been brilliant, but fair enough. If they had one of those 2 for their 6, they'd snatch your hand off for it. They pretend they wouldn't, but they would. Slight concern that Nkunku has not played up top all pre-season. He played against City up top, which is another reason I put him here. Played 45 minutes against City up front, the first half. That's the only game he started up front. Played the first half there, then he dropped back into midfield before he played the second half as the 8, but he played the first half as striker. So that's the game he played it. Do you think Casado learning the inverted right back role in Conference League games is a real possibility? I think he needs to learn it really. Maybe trial it. Yeah, maybe. Be good to see. Casado liable to giving up the ball in the 6. Lavia not so much. Lavia is more press resistant, I think. Yeah, uses his body slightly better. Bit more explosive in the carry from sort of like in tight spaces. Casado, I quite like at long distance carrying, and I do think he has potential to be one of like an elite carrier. I think they both have like the body and athleticism for it. Liverpool fans were calling to try for Lavia again 3 days ago. Yeah, I know. Gusto's going to have a field day against Kovacic in transition. Yeah, you're not wrong. If he starts in the pivot? Inverting. Is Cole and Fafani preferred centre backs? Yes. Yes. That would be my starting 2. For sure. Said that last season. Yeah. If they stay fit. They start for me. We're now at 520 people watching. It's always like, as the stream goes on, we get to like the hour mark and it gets to, the number keeps growing to the point I just don't want to finish it. But like I say, if people drop a like, because it does help. Boosting, we're up 50 likes now. 70 people on the YouTube and 449 on the Twitter. So plenty of opportunity to leave some likes. Do you think Osimhen raises us a place or 2 in the table? I think if he signs, we get guaranteed 4th. Guaranteed 4th. For me, that changes from 5th to 4th. Why are we haggling over 175k for Osimhen? How do you mean? It's per week. It's quite a big amount of money. Unless I've missed something, unless something's come out, whilst I've been streaming, I'm sure Zach would have told me if something had come out, to be honest. Can't wait to see Neto play for us. Yeah. So I'm so excited. Like I said, I think he possibly get some bench minutes against City, but I wouldn't be like shocked if he didn't. And then against Wolves, imagine he could start against Wolves. That'd be brilliant, man. Fossman comes in, who goes to the bench? Again, it's so like dependent on what we do in the whole system. With the entire thing, probably like this, with that being Osimhen instead of Jackson, and then you can only play 2 of these 3. But then you have the right back overlapping, Palmer starting on the right, which means Madueke now can't start. But again, like that's a good option to have. But it would mean either way, you're only really going to see 2 of these 3 starting throughout the whole season anyway. Like I said, there's probably only 1 or 2 games where it's viable to have all 3. It's more than 175k, pretty sure. I think the club would be okay with 200 to 230 without UCL and 250 with. Yeah, our wage structure is Palmer getting raised to 120k per week. Everyone on more than that is low-key on the chopping block. We have Conference League between City and Wolves, and I might start that. I thought that, but then somebody just said that it's after Wolves, so I might be wrong. I thought it was the Thursday between the two, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's the week after. We need him to pay him. Not every player is going to be a lower wage. Yeah, and I agree, but again, that's part of, like you saying, haggle. Like that's part of it. Sort of try and get it down. Try and make some of it sort of incentivized so that you can sort of just have a bit more control over the contract. It's I don't mind that part. Yeah, and that's after tax, by the way, David. So um, before tax, it's 9 mil per year after tax. Also, it was something like that. So yeah, that it's more. It needs to be more than that. It is closer to like 250 from what I remember seeing. It's one leg between and another leg after Wolves. Yeah, I thought okay, cool. Fulham beating United tomorrow. I'll be there. Can't wait for that. Even now, we've got 25 minutes. So again, I'm going to be ending this in about 10 minutes because we've got the start of La Liga. It did start earlier with Bilbao. But the game I wanted to watch is Girona at 8:30. That's the start of La Liga. Then tomorrow we've got to start the Prem. Saturday, loads of Prem. Loads of everything. Serie A starts as well. I can't wait for that. I'm absolutely buzzing for Serie A this season. And then Chelsea Sunday, just, perfect. Perfect week for football. I think Chilwell will get sold because I was a big fan of Chile. Injuries ruined him. Yeah, system dependent. And I was like, again, because when he won the Champions League, I was a big fan of him. And I had a lot of affinity to him because of that. But I do think he gets sold, or at least tries to be sold. I actually don't know if it goes over the line. So saying I think he'll get sold, I don't agree with that. But yeah, I do think there's a good chance that they definitely want to sell him. So we're on 53 likes, by the way, guys. 70 people watching on YouTube. Nearly 500 on Twitter. Please do come over and drop a like. It really helps me out more on YouTube than it does on Twitter. I was going to say Twitch. Don't even use Twitch. Do we get Felix? Do you know what? If I was to guess, I'm edging more towards yes at the minute. Just feels like it's going that way. Don't want Felix. Would be saying, yeah, he'd be a backup. Like he'd be like sort of the leading man of the second side. Is sort of how I've been trying to put it, and he'd be brilliant off the bench. I love Felix as a player. I don't think the squad needs him. I don't like needs in capital letters. But if he signs, I will be over the moon, and you'll see me tweeting about it and getting excited because as a footballer, absolutely love him. Loved him when he was at Chelsea. Loved him before he was at Chelsea. Loved him at Benfica before he even moved to Atletico. Brilliant footballer and just fun footballer. So from a fan perspective, I'll love it. Be serious though. In what sense? Do I think it will happen? I do. I think it will happen purely because I think they want to get rid of Gallagher. So yeah, being serious, I think it's likely. 60 mil, I don't know about that. I don't think it'll be 60. I think the chances are it'll probably be something close to 50, maybe like 45 add-ons, but I think the whole fee will be about 50. Felix better than Gallagher. I didn't say that he wasn't. He's a better footballer. He's a better technical footballer. Of course he is. Gallagher's game isn't being a technical footballer though. Felix with Pedro and Neto linking up on the left side would be damn fun to watch. And this is exactly what it is, right? It'd be fun. That's the key word, fun. Neto, Felix, and Kunku, Palmer. That's fun. Felix for the romantics, an old school 10. Like a Pablo Aimar for the old heads, yeah? This is what I mean. It's like you say, it's the football, it's the romantics of football. It's lovely to watch and it's pleasing on the eye. And in the smaller games where he does something brilliant and it's just fun. But in the big games where like system matters and everything, every single piece is like a chessboard, like in your big games, no, it's probably not going to be great. But again, you've got to get behind it. And if they make that move and he joins, and he did work a little bit harder last season at Barca, and you also got to think his career's on the line here. His career's on the line, so he's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder. He has something to prove. That's a good thing. Do we get all the loans done? Flows forward right now. All the loans done? Probably not. I think we get a lot done because I keep thinking about this as well, right? Odds are loads of them go on deadline day for like they go to places that you just didn't, that was never being planned. You probably end up with one or two loans that end up not being that good. Maybe a few loans where we have to still pay some wage. little bits like that. But a lot happens on deadline day, so I think a lot happens still. I'm not overly worried yet, but I do want it to start moving now. I feel like in Conference League we very much could see Neto, Felix, and Kunku Palmer at least once. I don't think there'd be any point to play all four of them at once in the Conference League, but it'd be fun. That'd be a fun line. You more like to see something like Madueke or like Neto, or if Sterling's not playing at the time, or let's say Mudryk. You've got Mudryk, Felix, Carney, Madueke. That's rotate. That's fun. And yeah, fit back up or rotation to Nkunku. Agreed. Good question. Where are the outgoings? Yeah, we need to see them. We do. We do. But that is the thing with the Conference League team as well. It won't be it won't be just two completely different 11s. So yeah, you're not wrong. Like, I just think that the big ones that will be rested in those Conference League games are your Palmers, are your Nkunkus, to like really load manage them. Maybe Lavia, if you like. It depends on them, and like Enzo, depending on how many minutes they've been playing, their injury status during this season. Injury stats last season. So for Fafana, he'll probably be protected. He won't be asked to do both. Well, I think the massive 130 million fee weighs heavy on such a young man. Also sucks he's playing in the Messi Ronaldo era. Oh, Felix. Yeah, he is. He's one of those players. I do think he'd also just excel with a team built around him rather than sort of being a cog in a system. Dream signing centre back Diamande, absolutely, from Sporting. News has been proper dead. Hopefully, we are getting something completely quiet like the Neto deal. Yeah, we saw earlier, wasn't it something to do with Osimhen? No, to do with Lukaku. They're closer on Lukaku, so hopefully that leads to something, even if it's just a small bit of news tonight and then big news tomorrow on a Friday, maybe before the weekend. That'd be ideal. Gio, early. We've been going for an hour. Going on for an hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to end it in about 5 minutes, but then you can watch it back. But appreciate you joining, man. Early. Drop a like though, everybody. If you haven't dropped a like, drop a like for Gio Don joining early. Need to see those likes. Need to skyrocket. Can we aim for 100 likes? If I go for another 5 to 10 minutes, we're probably like 40 off. We're 40 likes off 100. Let's go. Push that like. Where were we? If we get Felix and Osimhen, then we have all kinds of profile we need for the attacking options. Yeah. Osimhen, like I say, that's why Osimhen's my like absolute dream signing for the profile that we need. Bro, what do you think about signing someone like Hummels? I just don't think he survives in this high line. So no, I wouldn't personally. I'd rather just give those minutes to like what we've got already. I think I understand like Hummels is an unbelievable professional, but I just think right now I don't think we're in a dire need for a centre back unless it's one that completely fits in every way. Osimhen versus low blocks with Palmer and Enzo in swingers, cash money, yep. And then Neto, for example, starting out here on his left boot, in swingers one side, in swingers the other side, overlapping right back if Palmer's coming inside. Options are through the roof for Osimhen. Get him to the club and pair him with put him in the right teams, like you say, Enzo. Cash money is the exact word. Nassim, the exact word. Diamande pre-contract announcement in March will heal my inner child. Oh, we need the. Can you imagine? I need Diamande. Do you think Enzo should put the high line in the bin? No, I do. I think it worked really well. I think it's just these two need to a little bit more understanding on when to and when not to. I think from the front, I think it's actually been really well rehearsed. And again, it's from what more so needs to be addressed is when to because the high line with quotation marks is more about obviously timings. So when the ball, I can't remember what video I described this in. It might have been what game did we get caught out a lot over the top, but not the Celtic one? Oh no, it might have been the Celtic. It was either the Celtic game or there's another game where we got caught over the top a few times. It's more about when to put pressure on the ball. Real Madrid maybe. Might have been the Real Madrid game. But it's more about when to put the pressure on the ball. What I want to see more is that we sit zonal until there's a trigger in the press. So we're sitting zonal and sort of this Don't worry about the lineup. But we're sitting more zonal once we've been pushed back. So we've already done the high press on the goal kick. It's come back towards City, and they're now in the position where they can build out. Okay, don't worry about City. We're not going to move them around into their formation, but into their like build-up formation. But it's come back from the goal kick. We've high pressed, and now we've dropped into this shape. I want to see more of an understanding of when to stay in sort of a, like I said, I've been calling it a 4-1-4-1 shape, and then when and who initiates the press from that area. If Casado's in there, I think he's perfect for it. Once he initiates the press and you then go man to man, that's when people jump and you go high and you go high and you force that ball backwards, then you drop again, and it's about timings. But no, I do like how things have been going with it. I just think it's a tough one. It's one of those ones that does take time, and you can't cheat it. You can't cheat the learning of it. It takes time. Is Dorgu actually good? He is really good. I don't think we need him for the system we're playing unless we start. No, I just don't think unless he's got quality to do everything. Him and Bradley Locko were two of my favourites. Pretty similar in that sense. So like they just have a bit of everything. Really powerful athletes as well. He is really good, but I think Kukurea Vega's fine. I think profiles wise, that's quite good. Osimhen, you span cross and win. It at least gives you that option, which is more so what I need. The option. The math for Osimhen's salary would be 385k a week, which is more than Haaland. Where have you seen 385? That's crazy. Yeah, we're not going to pay 385. Not a chance. So if it is 385, it would genuinely, like, and they keep saying creative options, it would literally have to be the creative option being that he takes a massive cut and so much of it is incentivized because the rest of it, it's not 180k pounds. That's before tax. It's not 180k pounds per week. It's not. It's in the 200s minimum. I think we got left centre back, not right centre back. We've got Cole and Badia Shield. So I think if Badia Shield went, maybe, and then you got Vega, you can play left centre back too. No, I think. I think it depends who you sell. I think if Badia Shield's sold, then yeah, you go for a left centre back. If it's a Disasi along with a Chalobah or whatever, then a right centre back. I think it depends. Would you start Madrid versus Man City? Defensively, yes. Offensively, probably not, because Sterling's slightly more ready for that, and he sort of rises to that pressure. So yeah, he's on less than 2 for Fana. Do you think we'd see Disasi less, as he was quite good last season? I just don't think he fits the style of play. You put it on the head. I like him as a leader. I like him as a sort of a person and what we see about him from behind the scenes, and not the energy he brought last season. But I just don't think he fits completely. Just talking to David, what do you think of Vega? I really like Vega. I said it. I watched Vega a few times. I had Vega on my radar because of, I don't know if you guys know Dario Sugo for Sporting, defensive mid. I was watching Portugal when I was scouting him. I was watching Portugal's 21s. I think it was either their 21s or 19s, and I saw Vega in that game, and I took note of him. Like, he's good. I really like Vega. He's brilliant profile, so technically astute, so versatile, brilliant. So yeah, I rate him highly. Lol, he is. I was shocked. I agree with him. Not say, but he's not. Yeah, it's net. That's the thing. Like, it's before tax. 180k a week would be. I think it was something like after tax. Like, there's tax is included in that fee, because when people were working it out and they were saying, "Oh, he's on less than 200k a week," that's when I think somebody cleared it up and said, "No, that would be after tax." And here's offering Osimhen 140 a few. We're not going to offer him 140. Like I say, he's not an 180, so it won't be 140. Pay him close to Reese. I'd pay him close to Reese. He's worth that in terms of for our squad. To be honest, KDH doesn't even get near the starting XL. I'm playing Crystal out position as a 9. Again, though, this is only because against City, and because I don't think Jackson's quite ready to start. So that's the only reason I went for Nkunku in that position. KDH again, I would probably prefer to go like this, but I don't know if they will for sure. And KDH does at least platform every other player in the team better, even if he's not at his absolute best. Everybody else looks better when he is playing because his movements are brilliant. And even the other day against Inter, his movement was excellent. So I would say that. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. I am going to quickly check the like count, and then I'm probably going to end the stream because I've got 10 minutes to watch Girona. We're on 60 likes. Everybody that hasn't, can you please smash the like button? And if you're on Twitter, please come over and smash the like button from there. Even if it's once this stream ends, come over and smash the like button anyway. Anyway, trying to get to at least 100 likes. Even if it becomes a video and we hit 100 likes on that, that will do. 100 likes per video or stream is now my aim going forwards. We're going to have a video out tomorrow describing all I've discussed today with some images to show you exactly what I think about what City might do, the predicted XI for Chelsea that I think is going to go, a few other things like that. So make sure we're back tomorrow. Watch that video, drop that a like. Let me know in the comments what you think your predicted XIs are going to be tomorrow. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow in that video. We'll probably stream again on Monday or Tuesday because over the weekend I won't be streaming. Like I say, video tomorrow, back on Monday with more content. Keep an eye on Twitter. There'll be loads of posts on Twitter over the next few days. I'm going to be very active on there. So again, if you have any questions, go on there. And again, the FPL League, I will go and make that now. So in about 15 minutes, come over to the Twitter. There should be an FPL League for our community. Over 500 people in there, so we should be able to get a good amount of people in that FPL League. Obviously, I'm not expecting 500 people to join, but thanks everybody for watching. As David says, peace. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.